Welcome back, comrades, to Let's Play Langrisser 2 versus the Dragon's Blue. As we embark upon Scenario 25, the continent's strongest knights. The source of all evil, the cursed Castle Velzeria. Within its deepest halls awaited Emperor Bernhardt, Alvazard at his side. But at the castle gate stood Egbert and Leon's Blue Dragon Knights. Moreover, Egbert was holding Jessica captive. Neither side would surrender, and so began an intense battle, where the conditions for victory remain the same as the usual. It's either us or them. So before we get started, we can buy an Arbalist. Lower attack and movement, but 6 range for Aaron. That puts him right up there with Ballistas in terms of attack distance. So yeah, he's getting that pronto ASAP on the double. And we're going to retire this Messiah sword for Elwin. I think we all know who that's going to. But first, we want to make sure that Hein gets this dumbbell. After all, this is a battle featuring the world's strongest, so who better to put on display than the Ani key, right? I think this is right up their alley. And make sure everybody else is good as we make our way to Scott, who is definitely getting that Messiah sword. Because him and Lester are about the only ones who haven't reached their 5th and final class at this point, and he's further behind, so wasn't much of a debate. Lester himself is at level 8, so it's not going to take a whole lot for him. Hopefully a couple of commanders and some mercenaries as appetizers will be enough to put him over the edge. And then we've got to remember too that end of level experience is always helpful. That little extra push to cross the finish. Yeah, Hein there, 99 MP. In case you couldn't tell, yeah. Can't get no more. So he's doing just fine. And Ballista, again, we're going to be fighting a lot of knights predominantly in this battle. So if you don't have phalanx, you want at the very least get somebody who can attack them for decent damage from afar. You don't want to attack them up close when you can avoid it. Or when you can help it, you do want to avoid it. Stay far, far away. And yeah, we don't need this much stuff at this point. I really probably didn't need to buy that extra aura, but sometimes it's hard to say no to those rare items when they're offered. You know, it's a nice change of pace from the shops offering, what, knives, robes. Wow, thanks. Not holding back at all, are you? Something we're not looking to do in this fight. You have to be very careful. This battle, I've played it quite a few times, so it's probably not going to look that treacherous, but believe me, it can really nip you in the butt if you're not careful, so placement is critical. Liana and his compatriots will not think twice about swooping in and sweeping up somebody whose defense is not up to snuff. And Egbert there to greet us first. How polite. And Miss Jessica. I told you guys not to worry about her. And apparently her plan didn't work out too well. But they don't seem to be holding too tough of a grudge against her. I mean, look, they brought her back in one piece, and he's gonna release her. Thanks, Egbert. I'm sure you won't regret that decision. Oh no, it won't be a waste of our time. You can see Jessica there still feeling a certain way about Egbert. Just, you know, teacher pupil, regretting the decisions he's made and wishes she could do something to change the tide of fate, but what's done is done. And the troops are ready to attack at will. Thankfully, nobody named Will is on our team, so I think the odds are in our favor. And no, Elwin, it can't be helped. And of course, appropriately, we are accompanied by the track Knights Errand, which is sort of a theme of sorts for Elwin, I like to think. You know, it conveys the heavy task that lies before him, having to fight those who are currently foes, but under different conditions, could quite possibly be friends, allies, bros, buds, but not today. And Liana could soften them up with a meteor. Still not sure why healing class has that spell. Not complaining, just saying. So we will hold off on teleporting temporarily to do that. Meanwhile, Lester is probably going to want to cast attack up, but first let's see how much damage they can do on their own. The answer is pretty good damage. Okay. Now that he's weakened, I think it's safe to do this. Can't be having any one-shotting going on, not with there's so much experience lying on the table. Just waiting to be claimed. And yeah, against normal ballista, they'd stand a chance. But against 42 attack ballista, not so much at all. And Aaron, not quite ready to throw him out there because he doesn't need the XP, and he'd probably take them out. So, now that we've softened up with some preliminary magic, this is where we start lining our ducks in a row. I highly recommend forming a defensive wall of some kind, preferably with majority phalanx, which most of our people have, because as soon as Leon gets his turn to tango, he's most likely going to come in head first, provided he can target anybody who is not Elwin, because that was pretty tough at this point. Even Leon would think twice about starting that fire, because once you do, it's hard to put out. Now Cherie has angels, which are not as resistant to the knights as you would like, but they stand a 50-50 chance of surviving a direct hit. I don't remember what kind of attack and defense buffs Leon's giving his troops, but it's formidable, I'm sure. I'd expect nothing less from him. So, mindful as always of where we place everyone. Like Elwin, her attack is pretty good, and she has that first strike, a flash attack similar to the Ani key. I don't know if that was intentional or not, you know? Bodybuilding guys flashing. Princesses are known for being scantily clothed, flashing. I'm not sure if we're supposed to take that literally or metaphorically, but in any event, it does good damage very quickly, so I don't think she's going to be in much danger either. Her troops have a lot more to be worried about. And just imagine if we had given her the rune stone and boosted her stats even more. Yeah, but went with Hein this time. Usually I do give the rune stones to Elwin and Cherie when I play this, but wait, what am I saying? Never mind. I'm getting this mixed up with another playthrough that I'm doing off camera, where I did give Hein the rune stones. He didn't get the rune stone this time because we wanted to make him a summoner ASAP. I remember now. Cherie did get the rune stone, which is why she's so powerful and which is why they're not going to want to mess with her. And just that fast, Lester's level 9. And onward we go. And on that note, yeah, so we're getting Scott in position here. The Dragoons will make short work of the soldiers. If I can, I would like to get him and his people positioned in the mountains at the next available opportunity, because Scott, again, his only real weakness is his defense, especially where direct attacks are concerned. So, the more defense he has, the better. But I think we'll be okay. But let me take a brief, or not so brief, break from talking about the battle here to discuss some other goings on that are somewhat related for the most part. So first things first, before I forget, absent-minded professor at work here, I have to thank Vincent Mayo. Is it Mayo like mayonnaise or Mile? Mile? I'm gonna go with Mayo, and if that's wrong, feel free to correct me. I want to thank Vincent Mayo and also everybody who comprise Team Sheikah, those mysterious lovable rogues, whoever they may be, who earned Scott attack up. No, but thank you, Scott. I was wondering when he was going to get that. Level 5 Knightmaster, I believe that's the same in their Langrisser too. He learns it at that same level, that same class. But anyway, one thing at a time. I want to thank Vincent Mayo and Team Sheikah, whoever they may be, because Vincent is the one who hit me to their Langrisser compilation folder containing a vast array of files related to the series, soundtracks, books, guides, of course games, you name it. And originally I wasn't thinking it was going to be that helpful because we'll already have pretty much all of the main Langrisser games. I went ahead and imported the Saturn versions for most of them. So I figured, well, I got the games, I know how to play them on my computer, so I can use my emulator and cover them on the channel like I have been. Case in point, Dramatic Edition, and what, Liana? Yeah, that's what I thought. Glory to the Empire and the Blue Dragon Knights, he says. And yep, And the fun thing about this battle is you never know where he's going to go. Unless you just played the game that much and just have it down to a T, but I haven't. So, I guess he decided Keith's Angels were easiest pickings. Come on, Keith. Don't make Charlie look bad. Oh, well. I mean, come on, what's 1 going to do versus 10? But this is fine. They've got to get through quite a bit of him. Ooh, I was hoping they'd survive. Yeah, it could go either way with them. But they're not going to be able to reach anybody who would be more susceptible. Certainly none of my commanders, so I'm okay. So let them do what they want to do. Back to the discussion at hand. So I was thinking, I have most of the Langrisser games already. No big deal, right? Except one of those files is a copy of Langrisser 3, the Saturn version, which I have, but the difference is my Saturn version is all in Japanese, as nature intended, for better or for worse. The file that is in this folder is partially English translated. Not the main dialogue, but all the menus, all of that is in English. So I can actually play the game easier, because I was not looking forward to trying to negotiate my way through that one, because again, as I've said before, it changes a lot of the formula. And it looks like it's going to be a very interesting game, but because it's so different, it's not as easy for me to pick it up right away. You know, a lot of kanji, a lot of katakana, hiragana. I'm getting pretty decent at reading and understanding katakana, but the other ones, I need to take a formal class or study and brush up. I'm really behind, so to speak. So with this, I can actually play the game competently, hopefully. Now, as far as the main dialogue, I've had a translation guide for a while now. And hold on, back to the story. Lana again pleading with Liana. I think it's going to be in vain. Because you talk about stubborn. The personification of it exists in this man. Again, he is fighting for worthwhile ideals, it seems, you know. He is looking to end war. In the bloodiest way possible, but nevertheless. He's given his oath to the Empire and he's not looking back. So here we are. Turn 2. So, as I continue to do what I was doing previously, if I can finish this thought train, it's not going to happen apparently. But no, there's a translation guide, courtesy of GameFAQs, that I think translated most of the dialogue in English. I'm sure there are bits and pieces here and there. Like you've seen in these games, they'll have extended battles. If you are still around past a certain turn, there might be extra dialogue that you might have missed if you cleared out the battle too quickly. Stuff like that, I'm pretty sure they're not going to cover. But as far as the essential stuff, we should be good. So what I've decided to do, change of plans. Hopefully this won't disappoint too many of you, because I know some of you prefer gameplay only in certain situations. I know I do sometimes, unless it's a really good narrator or commentator. Some people, you know, you never get tired of listening to them. I aspire to be one of those one day, but I don't think I'm there yet. Anyway, the change, the flip, here's what it is. I was saying previously that all the import games, Langrisser 5, Langrisser 3, as well as Dramatic Edition, were going to be gameplay only because they're in Japanese. Now, Dramatic Edition, I'm going to stick to that. That game alone is going to take a long time to cover because I plan on showing every single path available, every scenario. So that's going to be a long, ongoing series. It's going to stay in Japanese. No gameplay commentary, just the game. That's fine. However, when I get to Langrisser 3, which is still going to come after Langrisser 4 and 5, because those two kind of go back and back, that is going to be an LP officially. I'm going to be commentating on that. I think it's going to be more fun for me, and hopefully more fun for you. And now that more of the game will be in English, I feel a little bit more comfortable doing that. Now, Langrisser 5, there hasn't been a translation patch for the game made yet that I know of, so that's going to still be in Japanese, but I'm still going to LP that one as well now too. Because after LPing Langrisser 4, since the story in 5 is a direct continuation, it feels kind of awkward, you know, removing myself from the equation. Because there's going to be a lot to talk about as it relates to both games, believe me. So, my current plans, going to finish up Langrisser 2, which should currently, it's looking like this is going to wrap up sometime in August of 2017, if you're catching this well after the fact. So in terms of today's recording, that's just another month or two away. After Langrisser 2, we're going to take a brief break, and then we're going to jump right into Langrisser 4. I'm just kind of reading what they're saying here. Yeah. Again, Leon, just proverbial stick in the mud, will not budge. But he's a man who honors his word. His word is his bond. I've got to respect that. I like to think I'm cut from the same cloth. There's not enough of us these days, Leon. We got to stick together. So I don't want to fight you, but you're making me, so Blizzard it is. To take you back down to 7. Yes. Love my knights having magic. Everybody on my team has magic. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. Protection. Cheers to guarantee success in all our endeavors. So it's tough. This is a really fun battle. I want to kind of talk about the fight, but there's so many other things I need to catch up on. So I want to get through that stuff really quickly if I can. Keep getting derailed, and then we can just focus on the fight here. So yeah, Langrisser 4 is up next. LP with commentary. Eventually followed up. Oh, and I'm going to be showing off all 3 paths in that game as well too. So that might be a longer LP too. Yeah. I might have to go back to uploading twice a week if I can find enough free time to get caught up and build up a bulk of videos, because I found out, you know, building up a stockpile is the only way to go. That way, tough times, your health takes a downward spiral, or you have other commitments keeping you from recording, you won't fall behind, no change to the schedule, you guys won't be any wiser. That's a good thing. Don't want any abrupt breaks in the content. That flow. So, Langrisser 4 is up next, all 3 paths. I'm not sure what order yet, it might not be ABC, but they will be there. And there's going to be a special surprise in the works for one of those paths. I don't want to spoil it, but you guys might enjoy what I have planned for it. Going to do something a little different, but nothing too crazy. So after Langrisser 4, it's going to be followed by Langrisser 5, again with commentary now. But the game will be in Japanese. I'll do my best to translate what people are saying as we go though. And then, after that, Langrisser 3, the prequel to all of this. Partial English game with English commentary. And then after all of that has been said and done, if I'm not completely burnt out of this series, which funny enough I don't think I will, and if you guys, more importantly, if you guys aren't sick of Langrisser at that point, then we will move on into the Super Famicom version of Der Langrisser, LP with commentary, all paths covered. Probably going to do the light path last in that one actually, because there's already a well done LP of that, again by Ortega Omega. A link to his series is in my very first video for this playlist, so you want to check that out, please. Very well done. I'm going to save the light path for last because it's already been covered. So probably going to start with the Imperial because it's a pretty interesting path, then Independent, then Chaos, and finally Light. So yeah, into 2018 and beyond it's looking like for this series. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. So Vincent, Team Sheikah, thanks again. You guys have really opened up some doors for me, allowed me to continue my coverage of this series the way I'd like to. And also, with the soundtracks, now I know who composed what music. And see, that kind of thing was actually bugging me because I like to give credit where it's due whenever possible. I like to give accurate information. Now, I know Iwadare, composer for the Lunar series, and Grandia as well, he composed a lot of the music for the series, but I know that he was not the only one. And I feel bad always giving him the credit for the music when he might not have been the one behind it. So thanks to those soundtrack albums, I know who did what track in most cases. So where applicable, I'm going to go back and update my video descriptions for the songs I've uploaded to give credit to where it's supposed to go. So just a little side note for those of you who are music aficionados like myself, I take my sounds very seriously, you say. And look at Aaron with more magic than he has any business having. But we just want him to do this. Perfect. Excellent. Can't ask for better than that. Because again, we don't want him to deal the final blow. And as you can see, I haven't taken my eyes off the fight completely. I really can't afford to do that. And I really want to summon that dragon, but for now we're going to go with the elemental. Because, you know, it might have teleport. It might have heal too. Oh, okay, well, 1 out of 2 ain't bad. Gonna save that heal though, and make sure she is covered. She has pretty decent defense, but I still don't want to risk it. Yeah, don't feel like dancing on the roulette table right now. So again, I apologize, I really want to comment on the fight, but we still have other news to get into. So, This little old channel is up to nearly 200 subscribers. Can you believe that? As of this recording, at least. So thanks again to all of you for the support, especially those of you who took the time to share your thoughts with the rest of us. I'm big on communication, and it's always a pickup to hear from you guys. Also, my health is back in business, so here's to no more dodgy speaking voice videos, for now at least, until I slip up again. Thanks for bearing with me, those that did. It sucks being lactose intolerant now, that was my issue. But as long as I avoid all those wonderful cheese and milk-filled foods, I should be okay. Easier said than done. Oh, pizza, how I will miss you, but I think I need to leave you alone. Sadly. Anyway, as it relates to the channel, expect some schedule changes sometime in August, probably around the week of August 14th it'll begin, as some series conclude and some new series begin, some of which won't be related to Langrisser, but will feature heavy exposure on this channel, Sonic Mania being the major one. I've been looking forward to that game for a while, I won't lie about that, and yeah, it's going to take up a lot of screen time, so with that a lot of stuff is going to get shuffled around. So right now it could change, but as of this moment it's looking like all Langrisser related content will start going up Thursdays and Saturdays starting that week. Thursday will probably be Langrisser 4 and random music track. Saturday will be Langrisser Dramatic Edition. So there's that. And is there anything else that I needed to mention right now? Not really. So there's other stuff to talk about, but I think I'll hold off for now. See if this elemental survives, and she did just barely. Excellent work on her part. Oh, look at all these level 10 commanders. Is everybody level 10? I probably should have paid attention to that. And they're getting in the mountains, leave them alone. This is good though, because this just means hopefully we're going to get that much more experience for defeating them. Now I'd like to think that the experience you accumulate for wins is partially dependent on the level of the commander you take down, but I haven't really ever paid much attention to that specifically. I'm hoping that's the case, because if it is, Scott's gonna clean up, and anybody else who can get in on the fun. But for right now, most of our people are gonna maintain a defensive posture, just trying to keep everybody safe and sound while he gets his dirty work done. And for that reason, we're gonna throw more protection. Probably don't need to throw it on Elwin's group. They probably won't try them anyway, but just in case they do. And again, it might not seem like it, but this is a battle where you have to defeat all the enemies. So really, your best bet if you're doing this yourself is to take Leon and Laird out first in that order, if possible. Just get them out of the picture. I am trying to do a service to you guys though, for the interest of dialogue that you would miss otherwise. I'm trying to save them for last. Leon at least for sure. And the dialogue does change depending on which one you defeat first. So keep that in mind. So it's going to make the battle more difficult than it needed to be, but we're going to get rid of all the goons and peons and stooges first. Everybody who's not a commander is subordinate. Or sub-lieutenant, whatever you call it, I'm not even sure. Permanent second place, how about that? But again, Leon, tough shoes to fill. And yes, we do have command of Jessica again, but they stripped her of all her magic, which was pretty smart on their part. So, yeah. She's somebody who Leon would be more than happy to target if you left her exposed, so don't want to get too close. She does have a decent attack as a Zarvera, but I think it'd be a better bet to get her MP up a little bit, maybe to where she can at least cast Fireball or Magic Arrow, nothing too strenuous. I don't know if I have the patience to get her up to a Meteor spell, but that would be helpful as well, without saying. You know, and Liana, let's not forget about you. You who for some reason can summon rocks from space. And I don't think we need to cast Teleport right now either. But just because I don't have to doesn't mean that I won't. Question is where to put Scott. Would kind of like him to finish off those mages, but at the same time, this Night Master. His troops are kind of bothering me. But no, we'll focus on the mage. in the end, there's going to be more experience for him there, so I think that's the better way to go. And he can actually attack the armored soldiers without facing too much retaliation. But, again, playing it safe. Gonna throw a protection and let them do it. Because their lances can do the talking. They are holding swords, though. I was aware of that. They should be holding lances, though. I think would help differentiate them from the soldiers who also carry swords, but that's just my opinion. Feel free to form your own. Feel free to not even care. Is there more important things at work here? Like the fact that they cannot one-shot the soldiers. Interesting. Well, they could, they just didn't. I guess they leaned when they should have thrusted there. Oh well. I guess I could give it to Scott, but that would leave him exposed and it might put some of his troops. Never mind. Huh. Oh, but you know what? I have a thought. Scott does have magic. And, okay. Just kind of getting a sense of where her heal range is. So I'm a little bit more willing to throw him out there. Gotta attack something. He should be tough enough. Oh. You know what? I always forget that. The Messiah Sword has dramatically reduced his attack and defense. So, yeah. Not so effective. Gonna use her to do that instead, actually. But you know, they had to have some downside to that blade because double experience is just too good. Almost. It's really not because it's so hard to get everybody maxed out in this game. I think it's only fair. That's why it's a shame in Langrisser you have to actually input a code or replay a scenario, which again is inputting a code to do in order to get that blade. You can't just get it through a normal playthrough. It's not even on any secret tiles. So that's unfortunate. And with that having been said, any version of Langrisser that I play on this channel, I will be putting in the code for the secret shop to get that sword. Make no mistakes, because I feel like you really do need it in that one. Especially because there's less scenarios in a typical run. Technically there's more if you count up all the paths, but on any given path that you can choose, whether it's light or imperial, etc, etc, there's not that many scenarios total. I think the most in any one is 21. Compared to this game's 27, yeah, we're just going to let the cat out the bag. There's 27 main scenarios here. That's not even including the secret battles. With the secret battles, that puts the total here up to 31. Staggering, I know. Yeah, it's a pretty meaty game. Which is why I'm kind of glad that they went the way that they did with it. Again, Langrisser is a great game too. I've almost completed my first run of the light path in that game, and I'm halfway through the Imperial path. I haven't touched the other ones yet, so I'm making good progress. A lot of things I like about that game. I like the way that they handle the summons in that one, you know, where their spell set doesn't change. I like the fact that when someone earns access to summoning, no matter what classes they turn into down the road, even if you use a runestone on them, they can still summon whatever they've learned up to that point, or use any items that give them access to secret summons. In this game, if you turn your summoner into something else with a runestone and they regress, they lose access to that command. And they have to become a summoner again, and only a summoner, in order to have access again. That is highly unfortunate, and I wish that wasn't the case, but it is. And also, only one class can summon in this game, and they're the summoners. In Langrisser, Priest can summon, High Priest can summon. I think there's some other ones, Dark Master can summon. There's several classes who can access the summon ability, so a little bit more variety. But again, it's one of the things that makes that game easier, so, you know, it depends on how you want to approach the game. It depends on your outlook. If you really like a good challenge, this version is definitely the way to go. But if you're like me and fun is the number one, then you'll find merit in both games. I'd be lying if I said I didn't prefer this version a little bit more, but the Langrisser is still a great game and I'm very much enjoying it. I haven't really encountered any duds in the Langrisser games yet. I've heard mixed things about 3, but from what I can tell, it's a good game. It's just the fact that it chose to go its own way is why it got the backhand dismissal from so many in terms of critical reception. But it seems like it's going to be a fun game and I'm looking forward to it. I wish I wasn't saving it for so long down the road, but it's only because I'm looking forward to showing off Langrisser 4 and 5 and they go together. So it's going to have to wait. And it's a prequel, so there's really no rush to coverage, you know? It's going to detail what happened before all of this stuff took place, so in a way it's fitting to save it for last. In my mind, games like that, you either want to do them first or last, and since first wasn't an option in this case, last it shall be. Except not really, because we're going to do Der Langrisser as the final game, but technically you will have already seen it if you've been following my Dramatic Edition series, albeit without commentary, but still. From what I can tell, the Saturn version of Dramatic Edition is basically the same game as the original Der Langrisser in terms of plot progression and dialogue. There have been some additional elements added, which is unfortunate because it seems like it mostly revolves around Elwin and the lady, so I'm wondering if they've included a love index for that game, allowing you to actually choose who he ends up with for the end, which would be interesting. But I'm trying to figure it out, trying to get better at my understanding of Japanese. But beyond that, as far as the main game, from what I can tell, the dialogue seems one-to-one, so what you could do if you don't understand Japanese that well, you could play the Super Famicom version, which has been translated into English a long time ago. You can play that alongside with the Saturn version, and that way you can get a sense of what's being said, what's going on for the most part. That's kind of what I've been doing actually. It's like I'll play a battle in the Super Famicom version, then I'll play the same battle in the Saturn version. So I'm kind of got a sense of what's happening. For that reason, I would have kind of liked to have posted videos of the Super Famicom version sooner and had it alongside my Saturn playthrough, but there's only so much time in the days and I'm already committed to other games going on and I would be spreading me kind of thin, so I hope you guys will bear with me and afford me that luxury of, you know, time to eat, time to sleep, time to think, time to do nothing maybe? Oh, how I miss nothing. Remember those days where you could just spend a little time doing absolutely nothing without feeling bad about it or guilty or like you're wasting valuable resources, prime opportunities to get things done. Anyway. La, 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 la. Leon's theme wasn't one I much cared for when I was getting introduced to this game, but it slowly grew on me. Still not in my top 5 for this, but definitely a solid track. And I think it functions perfectly as a theme. Because if you really listen to it, it conveys that unwavering resolve and chivalry that so defines the Blue Dragon captain. Don't you think? Meanwhile, poor Lair doesn't even get a theme of his own. But at least he gets to share this one. Because Leon is just that kind of guy. The kind of guy you want on your side. Right, Aaron? Which is one thing Der Langrisser's got going for it. While I appreciate the lack of alternate allegiances in this rendition, it would have been nice if you could at least coerce Leon into joining you. You know, turning his back on Rhaegar. Those good-for-nothings. But again, that would go against his code, so I can't be mad that that's not an option. You know? Let's see, Scott. Yeah, we want him to get this, not Hein. Ease that trigger finger back. Because that might be a level. What's it gonna be? Alright, 4 to go. So clearly there's more than enough experience to go around here for Scott. We just have to make sure that his Dragoons stay alive so that he can continue to get experience in an expedient fashion. And then once he is on the threshold, on the cusp of 10, We can tear back these reins holding everybody else back and they can go to town. Wand obtained, orb obtained. Two things we really don't need, but we'll take. And funny thing about meteor spell. Yeah. Well, I'll say this. The more time I spend with this series, the more subtle nuances of battle reveal themselves to me. And it's really quite impressive the things you can do to swing things further in your favor, if you know what you're doing. Especially if you're willing to think outside the box a little bit. For example, I was playing through Langrisser the other day, and I realized that any map tile that had been struck with a meteor would alter the terrain effect with plus 10% defense. So, what this means is you could use meteor to do horrendous damage, or to either raise or lower the current land effect of a specific location, which is far more useful in certain situations than it may sound. Particularly if you have someone like an emperor, let's say, who refuses to leave their 40% throne. Smash it with space rocks and boom, 30% less extra defense in a heartbeat. Not too bad, right? And then in this situation where most of the terrain is plus 0 or plus 5, you can smack the ground, get plus 10, position somebody in that spot, so whoever attacks them is going to be at a disadvantage defensively when everything else is stacked evenly. Little things like that. Or if you want to move some trees, get rid of that 20%, that pesky 20. But please, only in a dire situation, because we need every tree we can get. That oxygen, you know, save the trees. Yeah. If it were up to me, Arbor Day would be as important as Independence Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving even. Definitely more important than Halloween. Because really, what is a world without trees? Respect the trees, people. That's all I'm gonna say. Your friend the nature boy here. Hey Jessica, how you doing? Glad to have you back. Starting next battle, you're gonna get all your equipment back, gonna get your troops, gonna be rocking them hard. But until then, Lester, your ever-eager bodyguard, is going to do his best Costner impression and keep them off your back. Keep that sweat off your brow. And 30 defense won't help them, especially when they're not even in full health. And could this be a level for Lester? Yes, it is. Congratulations, my friend, Serpent Master, commanding Dragoons and Angels. And some impressive spells down the pipe. Eventually, maybe. I don't know how high I can get this level. We're at the tail end of this, only a couple more battles. I've mentioned this before, I'm pretty sure. The fourth secret scenario, the final secret scenario. I've done everything I can off camera to test it out to see if there's a way. From what I can gather, there is no legitimate way to access that battle in a standard playthrough. You have to use the level select code. And on top of that, the enemies are deliberately insane in that fight with their stats. You know, we're talking about 80s attack, 90 attack, 60, 70 defense, things like that. So they really don't intend for you to engage in that battle unless you've been using runestones or something. Clearly, which is why they probably made it so that you can't access it in the standard run, because, you know, once you've saved your game, you're kind of stuck there and you're going to get your butts handed to you. So I guess that was the right choice on their part. All that having been said, I'm going to save that battle for one of my bonus videos after the main game is concluded. I'm not sure how many bonus videos I'm going to do yet. I want to do at least one showing off that battle. It'll be pretty lengthy, so it'll be by itself, of course. I'll probably have another one showing off all the summons, a little summon showcase, just so we can get a better look at everything. I've done my best to show them off during the main game here, but I think they're worth a little bit more screen time. So that'll be a bonus video. And then maybe one more bonus video showing off some of the other classes that we didn't get to really feature prominently. So that's 3 videos after the main game. Then we can go into Langrisser 4. Yeah, that's going to be a really fun one. That will be the only later game in the series where I feature a version that is not the Saturn one. Because the PlayStation version is the only one so far that has been fully translated into English. Thank you, whoever did that. I'm going to have to find out your name and give you credit when the time comes. So, PlayStation it is. Part of me is partially in pain at that, because I usually don't hold allegiances when it comes to things like companies and consoles, you know. To me, it really doesn't matter, but, you know, this is one of those exceptions. I really would prefer to stick to the Saturn version when I can, but again, it's in English. I can't pass up on that. It's easier for me, and I like to think it's easier for you. And it's more fun, it's more engaging when you can follow along one-to-one with everything that's being said and what's happening, so it's really not up for debate. So that's how it's gonna go. And I'm really thankful that so many of Scott's Dragoons have made it up to this point. The Griffin, you see why I only brought one. They have very high attack, but their staying power leaves something to be desired, don't you think? And I love the fact that the Knights won't attack Aaron, who should be high on their hit list, but no. He's got that 40 plus defense and a commendable attack at that, even after being gimped by the Arbalest. And that's fine. The ballistas lasted this long. I applaud them. Job well done. Oh, not going for the other ones though. Oh, I guess they figured, hey, we can take down some angels, better do it. They're actually a threat. Actually, everybody here is a threat, whether you guys realize it or not. Sure, you're catching us on our off day, but come see us when we're at 10 health. Might paint a different picture. Okay, they're in the trees, but I don't think it's going to help them. Nope. They got most of the hits in, though, so. And you're casting heal. Force heal. Not attacking. Turn 5. Yeah, this battle shouldn't take too long. Again, if I just wanted to focus on Liana and Laird and then take everyone else out, this battle could have ended much quicker. Yeah, in fact, if you target the commanders directly, you can finish this battle in under half an hour easily. But we're not going to do that. It's not the proper way to play Langrisser, in my humble opinion. But if you so choose, feel free to. Again, that's why I love these games so much, and games of a similar vein, just the opportunities to alternate your strategy that they afford. There's more than one way to handle this. Again, if you win the battle, you're playing the right way. Beyond that, go to town. It's whatever your heart desires. Ugh, there's just no getting around it. Scott is gonna get hurt, but if it gets him a level, I can live with it. And we have plenty of people with healing magic, including the Aniki, who we haven't gotten to showing off too much. Mostly because I want to make sure that Scott gets his experience. Now, I'm confident that he'll have no problem getting level 10, but I don't want to get too overconfident, and I just realized the Griffin's still alive. That's good. I don't want to be too overconfident and end up depriving him of what he would need to hit level 10. He should make it, but again, I don't want to take any chances. I don't want anybody to leave this battle in their 4th class. Everybody needs to be at their final job. Because even then we're not done, you know. Some people, I still want them to get a few levels so they can get some magic. Much as we did with Liana to get her that teleport spell. And teleport, oh man. Oh. Imagine Warsong with that spell. And what's funny is, in this game, they kind of hold it back a little bit. Outside of summons, the agent class is the only ones who can learn that spell permanently. In Langrisser, there's so many people who can learn that. Anybody who can become a wizard, an agent, or a princess has access to teleport. Right now on my team, in my off-camera playthrough, I have 3 people with teleport. It's ridiculous. And I could have easily had 4 or 5. Well, with my current team, 4. Because again, depending on what path you go down, your roster will vary. Down path A, this person might be a friend. Path B, they could become your merciless enemy. Out for blood to drink. But they don't like to publicize that sort of information. You know? Some things you don't want to draw attention to. That's why I'm not much of a celebrity person. To me, they're just people like everybody else. I don't really have any celebrities that I really admire or look up to like that. Because in my mind, they're just like folks. They do good things, they do bad things, they do things they probably don't want people to know about. And in some cases, if you knew some of the things, not saying you don't, but for those who don't, if you knew some of the things these so-called celebrities were doing off camera, behind the scenes, yeah, probably wouldn't think so fondly and so highly of them. Just saying. No particular names come to mind when I say that, but I'm just saying, in general rule of thumb. Same thing for politicians, just anybody who's in the news in front of the camera. Because again, they're just people, you know? They're no better than anybody else. They just happen to have their face out there a little bit more. They're just a little more recognizable than you or I may be. That doesn't make them better. Doesn't make them smarter. Doesn't make them wiser. Doesn't make them friendlier. Doesn't make them anything. Except more exposed. And speaking of exposed, down you go. Can't see me, but I just gave him a wave, which I probably shouldn't have done because I probably made noise pickup on the mic that I'm probably going to want to mute out later. Audacity is a lovely thing. It takes up so much time though. Yeah, but you know, I'm a stickler for, I can't even say perfection, because look at my videos, they're far from it. And that's an understatement. But I like things to be as high quality as possible, so there have been a lot of videos I had to go and backtrack and brush up a lot of the audio, whether there was background noise in the neighborhood, outside my window, or things in the building itself that I didn't want to be picked up. So, bird singing, for example. I don't know if the mic's going to pick that up right now, but they're out there just, you know, just whistling their sweet tunes. That's one thing I love about where I live, though. There's a lot of birds, a lot of nature, and they are not bashful at all. They will be singing at 2 in the morning, 5 in the morning, all day. They don't care. And while I love it, typically, I know there are times when they're probably showing up in the background of my recording, so if you ever pick them up, yeah, that's not in game. But come on, who doesn't love bird songs? And if you don't, clearly you've arrived at the wrong place, but I hope you stick around anyway. We'll soften that heart yet, Scrooge. And I'm pretty sure they're going to fall asleep. Not too many enemies who seem to be immune to that spell. Very, very useful. And Hein wants to strike out so badly, but we all know he doesn't need it. He's the last one who needs it. Now you could go as high as level 10 in the 5th class before they cannot earn any more experience, but that's kind of overkill at that point. Not really looking to do that. I'm not even sure if Hein has any other magic worth learning at this point. I mean, what's left for him? Nothing, right? Probably something I'm forgetting. And there they go. Oh, and see, we were talking about that before. See, he's getting that plus 10 because he ran in the crater. Striking out from the dugout. Okay. But I like to see enemies thinking strategically like that. You know. And I always get strategy and tactics mixed up. There's a difference between the two, right? They're not interchangeable. What is the distinction between strategy and tactics? Or acting strategically versus acting tactically? Ah, Webster, where are you? Don't worry, I'm not going to look it up right now. I'm going to have to check that out after the battle. Because I've heard people make distinctions when they're speaking about these sort of affairs. You know, strategy versus tactical. And to me, they're pretty much tomato, potato, but I don't think that's true, so I'm going to look that up later. Again, accuracy. You know, with the information that's available on the internet, the potential for inaccuracies is too high. You know, and you see too many folks who don't care. They'll just post or say whatever, and it might not be true. You know, none of this alternative fact garbage. We want to keep things as on point as possible, so gotta contribute to the cause. Okay, this is going to be a good test for me, actually. I got distracted by something in the background, but this is going to be good. It's going to be a chance to test out my current setup to see how well or how poorly certain sounds pick up. Lets me know what I'm going to have to do to adjust in the future. And with all the announcements that I've made in this update, I haven't talked about my living situation. I have finally moved, like I've been saying for a long time now. So my setup is a little bit different. Actually, it's a lot different. I'm really not sure how it's going to work out just yet in the long run, but that's what this is for. We're going to test it out, see how it goes. So hopefully you guys won't be noticing any dips or drops in quality. That's not really my style, my steez is not what I'm going for. As always, things should genuinely be improving, not deproving. And why isn't that a word? Yep, there goes another one. And oh forgiveness. And yeah, it's thinning out. Might be her time to shine. With one, no. It's not gonna be enough. So we'll move Lester over as he is very, very close to that promised land. That land that so few have seen for themselves. With eyes that shine and hearts that glow. And bows that throw. A combination of arrow and stone. Upon the tops of heads and skulls that throw. And throw is also not a word, I'm pretty sure, but it just sounded right. Sometimes you just gotta go with what feels right, you know? And I am gonna look that up later for all I know throw is a word. Maybe something they used to say in the olden days. Before times changed. As they are wont to do. And another paladin bites the dust, drops his necklace. Perhaps it was an engagement gift. Is that how that works? I don't know, but she's level 2, so that's good. Naturally, we want to focus on the ones who are not in the mountains, but it didn't really matter because we're still standing somehow. That's fine. Huh. I think this would be better bang for the buck. Because look at who it's going to target. Get them back down to 7 or less. And not too much left. Down one more. And then there were 3. Let's make it 2. Yeah. You know, it just gets to a point where you're tired of holding Elwin back. He's not meant to remain in the sidelines. Behind the back door. No, you need to bring him in full frontal view. It's where he belongs. And that's going to bring them right back up to full. And oh, they're not looking too good on that side. How does he know heal too? That's what I want to know. Scott doesn't have that. And I know Leon's been a knight the whole time. And of course. Yeah, she runs out kind of quick. Probably should give her an orb. Not gonna do it. I like the carbuncle a little too much, and that's what we have Hein for. And let's see. Teleport. Because he's so close. Now he would get it after the fact, just for surviving, but no. We want to do it now. We can't wait. We're impatient. And we've been looking forward to this day. We need to see this happen. After we take a few proper precautions, because you know, can't be too careful. But people like to throw themselves face first into danger. Soften them up first, because I'm pretty sure they weren't going to get the job done. And let the dragoons take it away. With barely a scratch to their name. And more stuff we don't need. You can always count on Laird for that. But fun times are over. This is his final fight. And all the pleading in the world will not bring him back. Those eyes will not open again. And he's lost his only friend. The present age will end soon. Either him or Elwin will lead the continent into the future. And that's how it goes. And you are all that remains. Guess who's not going to give up, though? What's that supposed to mean? Yeah. Surrender is not in his vocabulary. And oh, that just breaks your heart, doesn't it? But this doesn't. Congratulations, Scott. Babyface has made it across the threshold and is promoted to a royal guard. How very regal and fitting considering that he is the Lord's son. But yeah, you caught that little teaser, right? You know what Leon was about to say to her, right? That's very unfortunate. I hate to be the one to come between two people who belong together, but in this case it's not really my fault because he's just being too rock-headed for his own good. Can't just admit he was wrong, you know, say he's sorry, come over to our sides, but you know, again, he's a word. He's a word of his man. No, he's a man of his word, and his word is bond. And again, I have the utmost respect for that. You know, it's really the only way to live, because if you don't follow through on what you say to the best of your ability, I mean, there are times where you can't come through, that's understandable, but with certain things, you have to hold yourself accountable if you want your words to contain any value. And unfortunately, that's what did him in. The Oath of Knights is what led to his downfall, but we still have a mission to see through, so we're going to finish this. Oh, right, that's what he was supposed to learn. I forgot about that. And for some reason, Aaron learns that. Okay, it's good to know, good to see. And with that, scenario 25 has concluded. Thank you all for supporting the series as you have been. Hope to see you soon. Until then, please do something fun. Better yet, with someone you love. And until the next one, I'll see you soon.